go from here? Joining me now to discuss the debate last night and where things go from here is one of those presidential candidates, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator, it's great to see you. Thank you very much. Sorry for the delay because of the breaking news, but I do want to get your take and your assessment. What did you think of last night?
Well, I thought it went okay from my perspective. You know, I thought it was very important that people across America know that I'm a fiscal conservative, willing to fly back immediately after the debate and filibuster against, I think, a terrible debt ceiling deal that gives unlimited power to the president to borrow and also increases spending for both military spending and domestic spending. And I think this is what's wrong with Washington, is what I call the unholy alliance between the right and the left, neither of which really seem to be too concerned with the deficit.
I do want to talk to you, Senator, about that budget deal. There's some important questions about that. But first, if we can stick on the debate last night, one of the most talked about moments really was a moment between Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio on Marco Rubio's Senate voting record. Take a listen just for our viewers to remind you of that moment.
He's a gifted politician. But Marco, when you signed up for this was a 6-year term. And you should be showing up to work. I mean, literally, the Senate, what is it, like a French work week? You get like 3 days where you have to show up?
You know how many votes John McCain missed when he was carrying out that furious comeback that you're now modeling it under?
He wasn't my...
No, Jeb, I don't remember. Well, let me tell you, I don't remember you ever complaining about John McCain's vote record.
That was one of many moments in a 2-hour debate, obviously, Senator. But you also told Jake Tapper yesterday you're very proud of your near-perfect voting record in the Senate. I see you there standing in Russell Rotunda right now. So do you think the voting record is fair game? Do you think Bush's criticism is fair?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we do get paid to do a job. Taxpayers of Kentucky pay me to represent them, and I try very hard to be here to do that. I've been here 99% of the time, and it's a lot of work. And I think if you're going to hold an office, you ought to represent the people who pay you. And if you're going to accept pay, you ought to show up for work.
What do you think of what Marco Rubio said? I mean, he kind of won that battle, just how he took down Jeb Bush. But what do you think of what his defense is of it?
Well, I guess I look at it just from my perspective. And each senator has to express whether or not they think it's important that they show up. For me, it's important. And I can only tell you how I feel, is that I try to represent the people of Kentucky by showing up every day and making sure that I have a good voting record.
All right, Senator, let's talk about this budget deal, as you were mentioning. That was one thing that you spoke about quite a bit last night in your time on that stage, is this budget compromise. You've called it, I believe you've called it a steaming pile of legislation, and you've said that you will filibuster it. But we don't want to get into the procedural mess to describe it for our viewers. But in layman's terms, Mitch McConnell, he's already started pushing the process forward. So you can't really stop it with a filibuster.
Well,
do you think you can at this point?
Well, actually, that's incorrect. We're in the middle of a filibuster right now, and there'll be a test vote at 1 o'clock in the morning. If 40 other senators join me, if 41 senators vote not to stop debate, then the filibuster goes on. The only way a filibuster ends is when 60 people vote to shut it down. So that's a real question, and we're going to put everybody on the record. And for many Republicans, this will be difficult, because this will be Republicans giving the president extraordinary power to borrow unlimited amounts of money. I haven't met a Republican anywhere outside of Washington who's for this deal. So the Republicans will be put on record tonight, and it's because I'm forcing the issue and filibustering that at 1 in the morning we'll be here voting on whether or not they want to give the president unlimited power to borrow money and whether they want to bust the budget caps. The real question is whether Republicans really are conservative or not, or whether the problem in Washington is actually both parties. I tend to think that the right and left are both part of the problem.
Real quick, Senator, have other Republicans told you they're going to sign on? Because meeting a 60-vote threshold isn't necessarily, it's not necessarily filibustering.
Well, actually,
it's kind of the way the process is. No, that's kind of the way the process works in the Senate now. You have to get 60 to do everything.
Not really. It is a filibuster. It is absolutely, without doubt, a filibuster. I know. I'm here doing it. So a filibuster,
but not in the physical sense that you've done a filibuster in the past.
A filibuster is when you have debate and it's shut down by getting 60 votes. Now, it is a fairly common occurrence, but this is a big deal, and I don't think anybody should make light of the deal that we are busting the budget caps, we are increasing the debt, we're doing something that every Republican, when they go home to their states, says they are opposed to. In the House, twice as many Republicans voted against this as voted for it. So this is an important thing, particularly for Republicans, but for the country. We're borrowing $1 million a minute. I think we're going to destroy the country, and that's why I'm standing up and making a strong stand on this.
You're making that statement, and you will with your vote, and you will with your vote when that vote happens. Senator, thanks very much. We'll see you on the trail.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.